So just learning new things so that I can figure out what I actually like. And then you'll eventually find something, an affinity for something, and you will find out what it is that you love to do and enjoy.
Hey friends, welcome to the More Than a Mother show. I am your host, Lawan Moses, and I am a mom on a mission to help you master your mindset, own your time, and make money moves. Join me each week for tangible tips, tools, and strategies you can use in motherhood, business, and life, as well as inspiring interviews from moms just like you, which will help you own your identity outside of motherhood and find the freedom to do more of the things that you love and enjoy. At More Than a Mother, we are redefining the way you think, feel, and look at motherhood. If you are enjoying this show, feeling inspired and motivated, learning something new, or just absolutely love the show, please do me a favor and help me spread the word. Screenshot this episode and share your biggest takeaways in your Instagram stories. And don't forget to tag me at Lawan Moses and also tag at More Than a Mother podcast so that I can share your share with my audience. Each time you share the show, it helps me to reach more and more moms just like you. So are you ready, mama? Let's go. Hey friends, welcome back to the More Than a Mother podcast. This is your host, Lawan Moses, and I'm back with you again for another great episode. If this is your first time listening at More Than a Mother podcast, we are helping moms to create a life outside of motherhood without sacrificing their family time. We believe that moms can pursue their dreams and be great moms at the same time. So I sat down and I chatted with Toni-Ann of Real Happy Mom blog and podcast. Toni-Ann is a full-time dentist, a Navy reservist, and the blogger and podcaster over at Real Happy Mom. She is a wife and boy mom that understands the struggle of juggling work and home. When she is not working, Toni-Ann enjoys watching WWE and watching stand-up comedy. This conversation that Toni-Ann and I had was very informative, full of tips, full of tools, full of strategies to help other working moms step into their purpose, step into their dreams and goals, and really start to define and learn the things that you like to do in life and ways that you can step into your passion, pursue your purpose without sacrificing your family time. Toni-Ann's a firm believer in doing what matters to you as a working mom and ditching the guilt to be everything to everyone. And this conversation that we have truly took a deep dive into what it means to be a working mom that also has dreams and goals and stepping into that purpose. Let's dive into my conversation with Toni-Ann. Hey, Toni-Ann, welcome to the More Than a Mother podcast. I am so excited to have you here today as my guest.
Yes, I'm excited to be here, and I'm always excited to hear your voice. So I'm excited to finally talk to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited to have you here and hear your voice as well. And our coming together. So this is great. So before we get started with the interview, if you could please just introduce yourself to my audience and just tell us who you are.
Yes, hello, moms. I am Toni-Ann. I am a full-time dentist and a reservist in the Navy, and I'm also the blogger and podcaster at Real Happy Mom. And Real Happy Mom is just a space for busy working moms to find inspiration, encouragement, and practical tips for motherhood. And a lot of what I talk about aligns with what we talk about here on More Than a Mother. So this is perfect.
Yes, this is a great collaboration between the two of us. I'm excited that this could happen. And I'm just hearing all you have with being a dentist, a reservist, and doing this blog and podcast. Yes, I'm sure you have a lot going on. So it's great that you could be here with me today.
Yes, for sure.
So at More Than a Mother, we believe that you can be a great mom and pursue your dreams at the same time. And I'm also big on storytelling because I believe everyone has a story that has brought them to the point they are at today, because none of us wake up and we suddenly have all these dreams, goals, and visions that we are working so hard towards. So if you could please just share with the audience, what was your aha moment, or what was some aha moments you had along the way that kind of put you on the path that you're on today?
Yeah, so it actually started about 4 years ago before I had my second son. So I had this itch that I wanted to start something new and just be something that would like change the world. I'm always trying to change the world, but it really starts small.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to do something new, and I had been at this job, and I thought that I wanted to start my own practice. So I had got hooked up with a consultant. We were looking at some locations, going through demographic studies. We were doing the whole nine. And then it finally got to a point where it came to securing financing and some other things, and things just weren't working out. And eventually things fell apart. At around that same time, I had started the job that I'm at now. And in this particular job that I'm in, I am the only dentist in the office. So it looks and feels like it's mine, but I have someone I answer to and who signs my paychecks. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. So I get to have that practice that I wanted, but I don't have to have all the responsibilities. So I pretty much let go of wanting to have my own practice once I started this new job and seeing that I really don't want to have all these responsibilities. I don't like insurance. I can't stand dealing with the foolery with trying to get paid from the insurance. And then, of course, dealing with team members and all that. It's just a lot. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to enjoy this job. But at the time, I had started a dental blog because I wanted to pretty much just grow my presence and get that SEO juice so that people would search for a dentist and find me and then see that, oh, she knows what she's talking about, and then want to come to my office. Because, like I said, that dream kind of fizzled away and I kind of let it go. I was like, I don't feel like talking about teeth all day, and I let go of the blog. But at the same time, I still wanted to continue a blog and felt the need to talk about more. And on that dental blog, I talked a lot to moms, like, okay, moms, this is how you care for your kids' teeth. These are some things to look for. This is how you get them prepared for the dentist, just things like that. And so I was thinking, like, I have more to share than just dentistry. So that's when Real Happy Mom started. And the reason why I wanted to do Real Happy Mom in particular is because I know when I had my first son, I came back to work, and one of my coworkers and I were talking, and he was just like, hey, yeah, so what do you like to do for fun? And I was like I could not answer the question. And so
Wow.
that's when I realized, like, you got a big problem. And I had found out that, I completely lost myself by, just trying to be that, awesome mom. And I think it happens to a lot of first time moms, or
Yes.
moms, period, where we just kind of immerse ourselves into motherhood and lose ourselves and lose our identity completely. So it took me some time to kind of figure out who I was, what I like, what do I enjoy, and all of those things. And so I saw that process and how I struggled with it, and I wanted to make sure that I helped other moms, because I realized, oh, this is not just something that just happened to Toni-Ann, like it happens to all moms. So
Right.
I was like, okay, let's talk about this more. Let's talk about some of our struggles. Let's talk about some things that can actually help us. And that's where Real Happy Mom came about and how I got started to where I'm at now.
That's awesome. And I think it's great how you shared that journey of wanting your own practice. And then you kind of realize there's a lot of stress that comes along with owning your own practice, but you were able to
Yes.
start a job. So now you feel like you kind of have your own practice because you're in your own world, but yet you don't have to deal with that stress. So, I mean, that just shows the power of still being able to work and do something that you love. But then also you have your other passion here with the Real Happy Mom and talking to moms and helping them with some of the same struggles that you had to kind of get through that. So you kind of marry your two passions together, and you really do have the best of both worlds right now.
Yes, yes. I totally agree, because I tell everyone, like, people always be like, "Oh, is your husband a dentist?" No, boo, he is not a dentist. I don't want to be around a dentist once I'm done with work. Like, I don't want to talk about teeth. So it is perfect life, like you said, where I can go and do work and I can talk about teeth and take care of teeth, and then I can come and do something totally different. So I have to get bored doing one thing. I can bounce back and forth.
Right. That's good. That's good. And when you brought up that question with that coworker asking you, like, what do you like to do? I think that's a problem that a lot of moms run into, because we have our kids and we throw everything into our kids, into our families, into all of everything they have going on. And it isn't until someone stops and's like, okay, what do you want to do for fun that doesn't involve kids? Because we find that everything we talk about either has to deal with our spouse, our family, our kids in some kind of way. And when someone's like, okay, but what about you? It's like, I haven't thought about me in a while.
Yes, yes. And it's so funny, Lawan, because I think that a lot of times we think that we have to do things that other people enjoy. So, like, when we think about, okay, like, oh, let's do something fun this weekend, like, we're thinking about what we can do for fun with the kids, with our husbands, with our friends. Like, no, like, let's think about something that we want to do for fun for just ourselves. And I think that is so important and something that we forget a lot of times, like you said. But if we really sit down and think about it, I know some of us may struggle, but I have found some ways to kind of help get some moms back to figuring out what it is that they like to do so they can answer the question with confidence and know this is what I like to do for fun.
Okay, well, we're going to cover that later. So we're going to get back to that. Before we get there,
Yes.
I just want to hear more about. So you mentioned that you're a dentist, you're a reservist in the Navy. So how does that play into your daily life with being the Navy reservist, being a dentist, being a blogger, being a mom, all of those things?
It it's funny because I feel like a lot of the things that I learned in the Navy and with my job, they kind of, help with other parts of my life too. Because it was funny, I was just talking to this guy yesterday. Actually, he is a reservist in the Navy as well, but he's also a police officer. And it's funny because like people that come in who are reservists, they don't like to tell me that they are, and they like to try to size me up and ask me certain questions. And then but the thing is I have really great staff who will, fill me in and be like, hey doc, listen, this guy right here, he's in the Navy or he's in the Air Force, whatever. So I know, and I can always peep that. But he was asking me some questions, and I was just telling him how, I have some of my shipmates who aren't the best, and I like to get into trouble sometimes. And he was just telling me, remember your sailor's creed. And one of the things that we say in the sailor creed is, having honor, courage, and commitment. And I think that's something that is not just applied in the Navy, but could be applied in all parts of our life, as far as like having courage, the courage, to step up and to speak out when we see something wrong, the courage to do things when other people are telling us like, oh no, don't do that, but you have that mother's intuition that's telling you do this for your child. So a lot of the things that I do and experience in one aspect of my life, I feel like helps me in all of the other ones. And yeah, it's really an awesome thing, like once I really sit down and think about it.
That is because we do find that there tends to be a lot of crossover in the things that we enjoy or the careers that we have or whatever our paths are. There tends to be that crossover, that's something that we found that we enjoy career wise when we're looking at how we do things at home or whatever dreams and goals we have. They all kind of sort of align. So you're really on that alignment path because it's not too extreme, and it's amazing just how that all kind of lines up.
Yes.
I hope you are enjoying this episode as much as I am. Before we dive back into this great episode, I just wanted to take a moment and answer one of the most frequent questions that I get asked all the time. People are constantly asking me, Lawan, how do you do it all? You're working, running a business, raising a family, you have a podcast, a spouse, a life, and you are just doing all these things. Girl, I need to know, how are you doing it? Well, I'm excited to announce to you that I have put together a signature process for how I get it all done. My course, From Overwhelmed to Organized, Managing Family, Business, and All Things in Between, will finally answer the questions for you as to how I do it all. This course is designed to help you stop being busy, help you figure out work-life balance, how to set boundaries, and get your priorities in order. And we do all of this in this course and so much more. I mean, are you tired of feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and anxious? Are you ready to reduce that overwhelm, minimize the guilt in all areas of your life? And how about that work-life balance thing that is just always there? Are you ready to stop struggling to achieve it and instead find a way to create a plan to become more productive and less busy? Because time is of value and I don't want you wasting any more time spinning your wheels. I put together this course to help you dive through and answer all those questions and come up with your own process to get it all done. That's right. I do this every day. I do it all the time. I would not teach you anything that I have not actively done myself. So if you are ready to go from overwhelmed to organized and finally get things in your life in order and
get your plate a little more balanced out so that you can reach that state of feeling balanced and not just constantly chase after work-life balance, I invite you to head over to my website or click the link in the show notes so that you can get enrolled in the course From Overwhelmed to Organized, Managing Family, Business, and All Things in Between. I can't wait to see you inside the course and take this journey with you. This course is truly life-changing. It is a process that you can use over and over again. And trust me, I wouldn't give you anything that I don't do myself. So believe me, I know it works because here I am on this podcast and doing all the things, and I still have my sanity. And best of all, I'm doing all of it without sacrificing my family time. So if that sounds like a plan to you, hit the link in the show notes or head over to my website and sign up now for my course From Overwhelmed to Organized. Now back to this great episode.
So as you were starting your Real Happy Mom blog and your podcast and you were getting it going, because I know there are a lot of mothers out here right now who may be working moms and having that feeling that they want to be doing something more, or they're in that situation where with this crazy pandemic we're in, they may have a job that's not allowing them to be as flexible, like work from home, and they have kids to deal with. So they may be looking to start like a blog or pick up some type of skill. So what were your first steps when you were getting started with doing that?
Yeah. So the first thing I remember in particular doing was Facebook, like getting in those Facebook groups. That was helpful, talking to other moms, hearing what they're doing. And then next is taking courses just to learn about how to do certain things. And you don't necessarily have to spend money. I'm a strong believer that YouTube will solve all of your problems and give you all of your answers.
Yes.
So if you go onto YouTube, you can find so much information. I will tell you this, the one thing that courses do help you with is they give you a straight path to where you're trying to go. So you're not consuming a bunch of information that's irrelevant or outdated or won't help you at all. But you can find all your answers on YouTube. It may take you a little bit longer, but you'll find it all there. So I would definitely say starting there is a great starting point if you're wanting to do anything, honestly. But in particular for a blog and a podcast, it's a great place to start.
Yes, I agree. YouTube, as I like to call it, YouTube University, and then also Google. I will Google something in a second to figure it out. There is just so much information at our fingertips, and I agree about courses that do give you that direct path, that way to go. But if you're not in a position to where you can purchase courses, then you can take that route. And I mean, that's how I did it when I first started doing YouTube and Google. And it just shouldn't be a deterrent just because you can't pay for a course, pay for a coach, whatever it is. Don't let that kind of deter you from pursuing those dreams and goals.
Definitely. Because I know in those Facebook groups in particular, I know there was a lot of people talking about certain courses, and I'm pretty sure you probably heard of them too.
I'm sure.
Some of those big names that are like $1,000+. Like,
yes.
Who has $1,000 to just drop right now? Not many of us. Like,
right.
Like it was really hard to convince my husband, like, okay, like, there's this course I want to take and it's going to be really great and it's going to really help me, but it's $2,000. Like, he looked at me like I had 3 heads. Like, no. So definitely when you're getting started, like, yes, you can do YouTube, but if you have it and you're willing to, put in the time and the energy, yeah, definitely do the courses. But I will tell you this, like, the one thing that I have learned is when I pay for courses, that's when I really step up because I've already invested in it and I want to make my money back, or I really want to make things work. So when you really get serious, that's when you gotta start paying up.
Yeah, that's true. Sure. I mean, you do have to at some point invest in yourself, because if you want to get serious, if you want to have that level up, I mean, you can do free all day, but there are just some things that doing free are not going to give you. So I definitely agree with that on that aspect, that it comes a point when you are able, it doesn't have to be that $1,000 or $2,000 course, but I'm sure finding a course that's within your price range is even better than doing anything. But I had that same experience just starting out. It's like, oh, these courses are great. This will give me a great start. Then you look at that price tag and it's like, okay, where are you guys getting this money? I know I'm just starting out. So where do you have this money just sitting around like, oh, I'm going to pay $2,000 for this course? That wasn't my experience.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Like, I just started like getting into some of the bigger courses, but it's been 2 years. Yeah, more than 2 years now, and I'm just now starting to get into those.
Right.
So, yeah.
And it's good to show that there are many ways to achieve success. So with both of us sitting here talking, showing that you can start at YouTube University and then you can graduate to investing in those bigger courses to kind of help you level up. But the important thing is to just find a way to start, because if you have a dream and a goal as a mother, you shouldn't sit on that dream and goal just because, one, you may not have the resources, or two, you're feeling you don't have the time and have to give everything to your kids. I mean, we're showing that you can find the time. We're both working moms that are running businesses, podcasts, etc., and we're still not neglecting our families. So that's good that we're able to have this conversation and just display for people that as a working mom, as a business owner, having kids, a husband, all those other things, we're getting it done.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So tell me more about what exactly you do at Real Happy Mom.
So Real Happy Mom, when I first started it, it was the blog. And the blog was mainly, like I said, just to give mothers inspiration and encouragement, and then the practical tips. I'm really big on practical because I can give you like a lot of really good information, but if they're not something that you can implement in your daily life, then it's really, I feel like, a waste of time. So I really try to get down to the practical tips that will help moms. And then after that, I did incorporate the podcast. Now, what I've added to Real Happy Mom umbrella in the recent year is a Real Happy Mom Tribe, which is a paid community where we go deeper into 4 main pillars. One is identifying our priorities and values. The second one is self-care. The third one is systems and routines. And then the fourth one is using apps, in particular Trello, to help with implementing those routines and systems. So that has been the big thing that I've been focusing on as of lately. There are some other printables and things like that that you can find on Real Happy Mom, and some courses that are coming soon. I have really been lacking on the courses, but I'm trying to get it together because I know some of my people have been like, Toni-Ann, like, when are you going to put a course up? Like, you keep giving me these things on the podcast. Like, let's do the course. So that will be coming up next, but that is the main things that are in Real Happy Mom.
That's great. And to see it evolve and see how you said it's been 2 years and the evolution, and the courses will come, and you've got the tribe and the practical tips and the podcast. So seeing it all just evolve is amazing. So I know you say you love to give practical tips, and that you have practical tips that will help these working moms when they are asked that question, what do you like to do? So can you give us some of those tips that you have and share them with us?
Yes, I am going to get so excited. So calm me down if I get too excited for you. But yes, so practical tips on answering that question. Now, if you are stuck and you're like, I have no idea what I like to do for fun, and you want to get back to that person who you were before, there's a couple of things. One, you can think back to what you used to do before you had kids, before you had the husband, before you got into this really demanding, stressful job. What did you do for fun then? Because let's be honest, like, if we think about, I don't know, some of us might have to go a little bit further back, but if we think about, those years back, what we used to do, like, some of us used to like dancing, some of us used to like doing crafts, some of us used to like, being outdoors, going hiking, biking, whatever it is. Think about those things that you used to like to do before you became a mom. That's number one. If you're like, oh, Toni-Ann, I'm not really into that anymore, the second thing I would suggest is going ahead and just starting something new. Like, just try different things. So for instance, I got my husband into doing date nights every other month, or every other week rather. And I told him I want to go hiking. I've never done hiking. I don't even know if I like hiking, but it sounds cool and I want to try it. So I'm going to try it and see if I like it. If I don't, then we'll pick something else and we'll try something else. Another really good resource to help you with trying new things is Skillshare. I'm pretty sure you've heard about Skillshare. You probably even used it yourself too, Lauren. Yes. But Skillshare, for those who are listening who are like, what is she talking about? Skillshare is an amazing platform where you can learn how to do a variety of different things. There's either some short courses, longer courses that will teach you things from web design to calligraphy to cooking to sewing and just pretty much like anything that you can think of. There's these courses out there that will help you with that. So that's something else that I've been doing, is just going on Skillshare and just learning something new, just taking, a weekend and taking one of those mini courses and learning how to do. I remember it was this one about journaling and another one about creative writing by this writer who is amazing, by the way. So just learning new things so that I can figure out what I actually like. And then you'll eventually find something, an affinity for something, and you will find out what it is that you love to do and enjoy.
Those are two phenomenal tips. And so many of us get into this hustle and bustle of adulthood that it's hard for us to kind of think back, okay, what did I like to do? And depending on how long it's been since you've done it, some of us may not be able to remember. But it's always that core. I like to say that we tend to pile things in and kind of run away from things depending on what's happening in our life. But a lot of times when we sit down and think about it, all the things that we enjoy doing, where we put our passions, it really goes back to many things that we enjoyed when we were kids or teenagers before we had adult responsibilities. A lot of that goes back to that part right there of the things that were always our passion and have always been with us, but they just got buried in so much mess or so much busyness, whatever we had going on. But a lot of times when we're able to reconnect, we find that the things we enjoyed back then are still things that we enjoy now.
Yes. Yeah. I totally agree, because I know, like, for me, I used to dance before, and like when I really am feeling like, oh, I need to get back to doing something for me, I'll just start dancing around the house, and then I start feeling good again. So even though like you're not going to see me on stage, like, I don't know, I need like a year to prepare if I want to ever perform again. But I will start moving around and doing things, and then I'll like start feeling like me again, and it feels so good. But yeah, I'm not gonna be on stage. No.
That's all right. Dance in your house. That's always good. As long as it makes you feel good, keep it up.
Yes.
And then even what you share with starting something new, I think a lot of people are scared to start things new because they feel like it may require a lot of extra time and energy. Because when people hear new, it's like, oh, I have to learn something. But people don't realize with something like Skillshare, it doesn't have to be anything intense that you're learning. Taking a course on journaling or creative writing or whatever, something else that's enjoyable, going on a hike, those type of things can be forms of self-care and things that make you feel good. So, I mean, just trying to reconnect, and to me, having that quiet time, that alone time, so then you can start to process your thoughts outside of hearing someone say, mom, 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 or hear somebody call your name all the time. You're able to sit with yourself and really just kind of start to reconnect with yourself so that you can feel that human being piece. Because to me, a lot of mothers, we lose that because we're caught up in that mom role or whatever other role we have, that we're pouring everything into everybody, that we lose the core of who we are. And once we start to lose that, then we're kind of like miserable and just all over the place and really no good to anybody.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing that you made me think about while you were talking was, I had a conversation with Stephanie Gass a few weeks ago, and she was just talking about how a lot of times we just need to slow down and just get quiet with ourselves. And I think that's hard for us, but we really need to do it. Like, seriously, like, when's the last time that you just got quiet and you were able to just, kind of go through some things without someone interrupting you? Like, it really, really does help. Because I was telling her, I was like, it's definitely like, just haven't been feeling like myself. Like, I've been having a hard time like getting motivated to get stuff done for the podcast and for the blog. And she was like, girlfriend, like, you need to slow down and you need to, just pause and like ask yourself, like, what's going on? What do I need? And then you can go from there once you start asking yourself those questions and getting quiet.
Yeah, quiet and pause. And a lot of us, we don't like the quiet. We don't like the pause because we feel like we always have to be doing something. I don't know where that mindset comes from, but it's like we feel like horrible human beings if we're not constantly doing something. And it's like, no, wait, it's okay to stop. It's okay to pause. It's okay to just not do anything for a moment and really figure out the path instead of being on that constant hustle. And especially with that, that's why I don't like using the term side hustle. So when you're like a working mom and then you have a business on the side, or you're running a business, people use that term side hustle. But to me, that gives that mentality of you have to always be doing something, hustling after something. And it's like, no, you're working and you're building this business and pursuing your passion. It doesn't have to be a hustle.
you don't have to always be on the go. That's why I don't like to use that term myself. It's nothing wrong with people that do use it, but it really takes away. By not using that word, we give people that power to pause, so that if I am feeling overwhelmed with my full-time job, I'm not going to feel bad that I didn't feel like doing my podcast or something else today, or I didn't get an episode out today. It's giving ourselves that freedom kind of thinking and expression to do that.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Let me tell you, during this crazy season we are in, there are some days I absolutely do not look forward to going grocery shopping. In this new normal, a trip to the grocery store can sometimes be a bit overwhelming. However, one day I discovered the greatness that is Instacart. The idea of creating my shopping list and someone else doing the shopping for me won me over quickly. Instacart matches you with personal shoppers in your area. They highlight deals to help you save money, and your shopper finds everything you usually buy or makes suggestions for new or replacement items. And get this, your groceries can be delivered to you in as fast as an hour. If you haven't had the Instacart experience yet, if you haven't had the pleasure of shopping through Instacart yet, mamas, then you are truly missing out on an experience that can help relieve some stress and overwhelm from your daily life. No more worrying about getting all the kids together and dragging everyone to the store with you. Say goodbye to impulse purchases and your kids constantly asking, "Mom, can I get this?" Follow the link in the show notes, and that will let Instacart know that I sent you, and it also helps support the show. Save yourself a trip to the store, save some time, and save some energy. Shop through Instacart today.
So what is it like being a working mom, having a business and all for you at this time in life with everything going on?
It can be a little crazy, but I will tell you this. The one thing that has helped me to not get into that overwhelmed state where I'm just like, you know, lashing out at the kids, or I'm just, having panic attacks and things like that, is just preparing for the week. And that's one thing that I talk about all the time. I love talking about preparation because I feel like when you're prepared, it makes your life go a lot easier. And I know a lot of times when I tell people everything that I'm doing, they're like, "Oh my God," like this one lady, she told me, she was like, "Do you wear a cape?" And I was like, "No, I don't." I don't, even though I have a pretend one in the closet. No, I'm just joking. But no, like the only way that I can get all these things done is if I'm prepared and if I'm planning in advance. When I don't, that's when things start crashing and burning. It's just a big mess. But when I take time to prepare and I make time for work, and I have scheduled time for the blog and podcast and for my kids and for my husband, then life goes a lot easier. Yes, life does happen and things don't always go according to plans, but when you have a plan in place, it makes it go a lot easier.
I'm all about plans, so I can agree with that 100%. And it really is about being prepared. And people ask me that same question: how are you getting this all done? How do you do it all? And it really had me sitting back and thinking about it, helped me come up with this process. Like, it comes down to priorities and boundaries and really planning. But I guess because it's something probably that you and I both do so naturally, that we don't think of it as a big deal. But the more I have these conversations, the more I talk to different mothers and different people, you kind of realize a lot of people aren't preparing. A lot of people don't have priorities. They don't even have a planner. Because I mean, I remember I was talking to somebody about, I write everything in my planner, and it's kind of like, oh, you have a planner? Like, I take for granted the fact that people are using Google Calendar or a regular planner, because it's something that I incorporate all the time. That I was like, okay, I need to start these conversations with people back at step number one. Get you a planner and start writing stuff down.
Yes, yes. And I would say the other thing too, Lawan, is not feeling like you have to do everything yourself. Now,
Right.
before the pandemic, I will tell you, I was trying to get someone to help me with cleaning my house and some other things, but now I don't have people in my house. But you do not have to do everything on your own. And I think as moms, a lot of times we feel like if we're not doing it, then it's not going to get done, or it's not going to be done well. But you have to let some things go because you can't do everything. Like, I can't, do all these things and work and have the blog and podcast and still, get everything on that to-do list done. Like, no,
And
no, no,
have
no,
your
no.
sanity.
Yeah, it's like, no. Either a couple of things. One, I'm gonna automate what I can. Like, what can I get done automatically? Like, it's gonna get done every week, every month, whatever it is, in particular like bills and things like that, so I don't have to think about it. Two, what can I delegate? What can I give to somebody else so they can go do it? And then three, what can I eliminate? What are some things I can take off of that to-do list that I really don't need to get done? Like, seriously, do I really need to go out there and clean the yard again? Do I need to pull weeds again? No, 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 no. I'm taking that off the to-do list. We can do that another time. So just understanding, like, you don't have to do everything and you can get help, because I couldn't do this by myself. Like, my husband has the kids. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like my kids are angels and they don't get into stuff. Like, I have help and I have someone helping me, and we have to be willing to accept that help too as well.
Yeah, and that's the key point, being willing to accept it. As you said, so many of us have those control issues, which I know I suffer from at one point in time. There are still some things where it's like you want to keep your hands on it, but it's like, no, for my own sanity, we have to learn as mothers, as women, that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to let someone else do something. And just because they may not do it the way that you think it should be done or the way that you would do it doesn't mean that it's wrong. I mean, as long as it's still getting done. But so many of us just want to hold on to that and feel that we have to be doing everything, or we're not living up to some high standard that we set of motherhood, or some unwritten rule that people feel that motherhood has, so where moms have to do everything for everybody but nothing for themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So what would you say has been the most rewarding part of your life journey so far?
Oh, rewarding. It's been quite a few things. One, with the blogging podcast, getting moms coming back and saying like, oh, this was really helpful and I really enjoyed this, or, oh, I'm so glad that you said this today. Like, that is super rewarding for me, because I'll be honest, there have been some many blog posts and podcast episodes that I put out, and it's like crickets. Nobody will say anything.
Right.
But there are some where I get a lot of responses back, and they'll be like, this was so good. Like, I really needed this. That lights me up, and that's what keeps me going. So that is number one that I will say for the blog and podcast. As far as the kids, I will tell you, seeing them actually learning and implementing the things that we have been talking about, especially like, helping around the house and, being kind to each other. Like, for instance, my son, the little one, he was just having a really bad time and he was having a meltdown. And the oldest one came to him and gave him a toy. And he was like, here, take this, calm down. And it was just really sweet to see, like, he
Aw.
was trying to help his brother. Like, usually he's like, running away or telling his brother to be quiet, but he's actually trying to help him. So it was really rewarding to see that too.
Yeah, those are great moments to witness, because with having two girls that are close in age, it's always good to witness those moments where they are helping each other, and not those moments where, like you said, they're running away from each other or telling each other to be quiet. So that is a rewarding experience to have.
Yes.
So what tip would you have to offer to a mom that may be struggling? Because a lot of moms that listen struggle with mom guilt. They're struggling to manage life or find their way. What is a tip or final tips that you could offer to a mom that may be having some struggles right now?
Yeah, so I would say, well, I have a lot of tips, but I'm gonna
Okay.
just give you one, because you told
You
me
can give
just
me
one.
more than one.
I can give you more than one. Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So I would say this, going back to preparation, because a lot of times, like, a lot of people hate Mondays. I'll be honest, my favorite day of the week is Monday.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know, everyone's like, what?
I've learned to deal with Mondays, but I would not go as far as saying it's my favorite day of the week.
Let me tell you why it's my favorite day of the week. I am a huge WWE fan, and Monday Night Raw comes on every Monday night, and I
Okay.
love watching it. So that's why I love Mondays, and it's the start to a new week. So I love Mondays, and I know, in particular, the girls at work, they like can't stand me on Mondays. They like, oh, here she comes. She loves Mondays, Monday. But the reason why I'm excited about Monday, and other than Raw, of course, is I'm ready for the week. And the way that you can do that is a couple of things. I'm going to give you just a few. First, getting your clothes ready for the week, because decision fatigue is a real thing. If you're not familiar with decision fatigue, it's basically, we pretty much have like let's just say we have 100 decisions that we can make in a day. If you use up all 100 of those decisions in the morning, then by the time you get to the afternoon, you're like tired and can't make really good sound decisions. And one of two things happens. Either one, you don't make a good decision and just don't decide, or two, you make really bad decisions. So you really want to eliminate having to make a lot of decisions in the morning in particular. So one way to do that is by getting your clothes ready for the week. And for me, I go to the extreme and I have everything ready, from the socks to the pants, like everything is sitting out ready. So literally I just grab myself and go. Number two, you want to start planning for the week and making sure that when you plan for the week, you also plan for yourself too. Like, what am I doing for myself, and making that time? Because how many of us will be like, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time for myself. No, boo, you got to make time for yourself. And the only way that you can do that is by doing this. This is how I've learned to make it work. You put on your calendar for the week everything that's going on that you can't change. So you know you got to go to work. So for me, 7:30 to 4:30, I'm at work. You know you have, doctor's appointments, things like that. You can't change that. You put those things in. Some people are picking up and dropping kids off from school, put that stuff in, and then you look at what is left. You go ahead and you make time for yourself then after you made time for yourself, you put in all the other things, like, I'm gonna go shopping for the kids' clothes, I'm gonna go pick the weeds out of the yard again, those kinds of things. So putting yourself first and making time for yourself, I promise it will change a lot for you, because a lot of times I feel like moms are feeling resentful and feeling all of these things because they're not making time for themselves. So that's why I think it's so important that we plan the week out, but also plan to make time for yourself. And then one more thing, or actually two more things. One more thing is clean out your purse. Because moms, how many times have you been looking for something, can't find it, and it's like deep down in your purse? If you have those big bucket style purses like I do. So making sure that you're going through, taking things out, getting rid of things that aren't supposed to be in there. Because I know if you have little ones, I used to have like toys and diapers and stuff. I'm like, where did this come from? But if you get those things out, one, it will help you to keep your purse a little bit lighter, and then two, you won't be losing things. And then lastly, I'm gonna give you one more, because this is all a part of my whole Sunday prep thing, is restarting your devices. Because a lot of us are running off of our devices, and I'm sure you've had it happen to you, LaJuan, where you're getting ready to do something on your computer and your computer starts crashing.
Yes.
So what happens is, a lot of times we have all of these apps running in the background, and I'm not a techie person. So please just, make sure you go on YouTube and check this out. But my husband is techie, and he's the one that's explained this to me. Is we have all these apps running and things going on in the background. And the more that we have it happening, the longer it takes for your computer to load, and then eventually your computer starts crashing. Same thing happens with your phone, because even though you're closing things out on your phone, like depending on if you have an Android or Apple, it's still the same thing. You think you're closing out, but it's still running in the background. Mm-hmm. So then your phone is getting slower, it's having issues, and then you have a podcast interview, you have a meeting scheduled on your computer, and your computer starts crashing, and then it like ruins your whole day. So make sure you're taking time to restart your devices at least once a week. Sometimes I do it more than that if I know that, because I'm a little crazy with opening a million gazillion things at one time.
Me too.
So taking time to restart your devices, I promise, will save you during the week so that your week goes a lot smoother.
Those are awesome tips and just great. And thank you for sharing some of your Sunday prep routine. I feel like I need to step up my Sunday routine after hearing that. But those are definitely great strategies. And I mean, just think about how easy that makes things, especially if you're preparing all the clothes for the week for everyone, or however that works, preparing all the clothes and then putting yourself on your calendar first. I mean, I never even thought to put in everything and put myself on my calendar before I fill in everything else. I think that's great, because I mean, I am intentional about taking time for myself, but I never thought to do it that way, of putting in all the non-negotiables and then putting myself on and then adding everything. So that is a great strategy in itself. So again, I thank you for sharing those tips with us, and I thank you for joining me here today.
Yes.
If you could just tell our audience, where can they find you online?
Yes. If you want to come and hang out with me, I am on Instagram at Real Happy Mom. You can also find me at realhappymom.com, and there you'll find links to the blog and podcast there. But those are the two main places to go to find me. I am on Facebook and Twitter and all those other places, but I'll be honest, I haven't really been as active as I should. So come hang out with me on Facebook or Instagram, and yeah, we can get some more of these tips going.
Awesome. And how can someone become a part of your tribe if they were interested?
Yes. So the Real Happy Mom Tribe, the doors are actually closed right now, but we are getting ready for a big launch come November.
Okay.
Where the doors will be opening, but there will be a time where the doors will open just for a slight period of time. So make sure you go to realhappymom.com/tribe and you can put your name on the wait list, and I'll let you know for sure when the doors are open.
Awesome. So I will link to that in the show notes. Make sure that our listeners have the link to where they can find you online, and also the link to the wait list so that they can connect with you in all the ways possible. So I thank you, Toni-Ann, for joining me. This was such a great conversation.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I really, really enjoyed it.
Do you want immediate access to new episodes, products, events, and even free tips, tools, and strategies delivered straight to you? Well, join the More Than a Mother community today. Head on over to LawanMoses.com and become a part of our community right now. That's www.LAWANNMOSES.com. I can't wait to see you inside my community. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, head over to LawanMoses.com. I love for us to stay in touch. Make sure you leave your email address so I can send you inspiration, tips, and the latest updates. Or, if you prefer, text the word MORE, that's MORE, to 302-440-4632. We have some great things coming up, and I don't want you to miss a thing. Thanks again. Make sure you subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, keep pressing because victory is yours.